Yeah, I'm going to use these two examples to show you how will you solve logarithm equation if you got different base and you couldn't apply the rule. So you need to resort to change your base first. Okay, so I have two examples to show you. So I'm going to show you the first one. So if you look at the first one, it's a log minus log. So log minus log should remind you of rule number 4, but the base must be the same. So in this case, I got two different base. So I couldn't apply my rule number 4. So I got a base 5, I got a base 25. So which one should you change? So the guideline is we will always prefer to change the bigger base to a smaller base. So we prefer, like, we will change a big base to smaller base. So that is the first guideline. Okay, another guideline will be, if you find very complicated, you can do your change of base at the start first. That means you can try to do your heaven and earth at the start. So if you would like to change a big base to small base, that means you would want it to be base 5. So you want it to be base 5. Okay, and this part will be a heaven. This part will be the earth. Okay, so if you are not very confident, right, you can do it at the side first. Okay, and as you're doing it at the side, right, you also realize something. This part is actually like 5 square. So this part is like 5 square, which you can bring down the power. And this is like a 1. So it's like 2 times 1. Okay, so you can try something on the side first, at least have an idea about how to change your base first before you go to the actual doing. But you do need to show your change of base. So you need to show the change of base. But if you are confused, you can do it like this first. You must let your teacher see your change of base. That means show the heaven and earth. So this part is important. You need to show the heaven and earth. Then after that, the denominator becomes the 2. So as with the same thing about equation, if you don't like a fraction, there's a denominator here. You multiply 2 throughout. So multiply 2. So don't forget to multiply the other side. Then once you get to the same base, you go back to what you have done. So it should be something familiar already. You can see that it's a log minus log, but there is a coefficient that hinder you. So bring up the coefficient so that you can apply your rule number 4 correctly. So rule number 4 says log minus log becomes a fraction. So after it becomes a fraction, you get rid, change it to indices. And then from here, you will become something like a quadratic equation. Cross multiply, and it becomes a quadratic equation. Okay, so I will not be solving this for you. Okay, you should be able to understand this part. Okay, and you solve. So just remember, when you got 2 answers, remember, check the validity. We cannot take log on a negative number. Okay, so you can continue yourself. Okay, so that's a typical question where you need to do a change of base. So the guideline is change the bigger base to the smaller base. So you don't touch the small base. You touch the one with the bigger base. Okay, then in this other question, you realize that if you observe the 2 logarithm, the position are swapped. The base position are swapped. So the base position are swapped. So which one will you change? So another guideline, we do not want algebra, we don't want algebra in the base. So we don't like algebra in the base. So we will target the logarithm with the algebra base. So I actually going to apply formula number 2. So if you still remember, what does formula number 2 do? It kind of make it into a fraction, but I can flip the position. Can see? So I'm using formula number 2. I can directly flip. So the x and 2 was change position if I apply formula number 2, which is also a change of base formula coming from number 1. Okay, but otherwise you can just apply. Okay, so observe after you did the change of base, you realize that you got an identical log. The log are identical, log 2x. So this is where we'll do a substitution. So this is where we'll do a substitution. You will have a k equal to 25, 1 over k, which is k over 1 equal to 25 over k. So you go for your cross multiplication. So in this case, you get a 5 or you get a minus 5. But sometimes you get a quadratic equation. So return your substitution back because your aim is to find x, not to find k. So change back your indices. So you got 2 to the power of 5. I think that's the 32. Then you got 2 to the power minus 5. So you get 1 over 25, which is 1 over 32. So that's how the change of base is applicable in an equation or in this kind of equation where you involve a substitution.